Hi friends, before we start this episode, I just wanted to let you know that here in From Someone Who Gets It, we have raw, vulnerable conversations, and sometimes those conversations can trigger others. I want to let you know that in this season, we touch on suicide, infertility, PTSD, and everything in between. So if those are some subjects that are triggering to you, I just want to let you know that you're heard and you're seen and you're not alone. This podcast is for you, and I hope you join us. Hi everyone, welcome to From Someone Who Gets It, a podcast about life, mental health, and everything in between. I'm your host, Marcela Paguaga, and this season I'll be sitting down with some of my favorite people having raw, vulnerable conversations about goals, dreams, life, and mental health. Every Monday you can find our episodes on the Cultura Talks channel, and I hope you join in. Hello friends, welcome back to another season of From Someone Who Gets It. I am your host, Marcela Paguaga. For our first episode this season, I am sitting down with really one of my favorite human beings of all time. She is a personality, she's a writer, a producer, an actor. The list goes on and on. Today, we are sitting down with Lucy Lopez.
The Bad Bunny album is literally a roller coaster of genres and time periods for certain Latinos. And if you just... I'm sorry. And I know I'm not overthinking it. I know a lot of people think this way.
No, I
it.
haven't stopped listening to the album. No. My favorite song, we're going to have a little dance break.
Yeah.
This is my favorite song right now. And you're going to dance it with me a little bit in the chair.
Is it the EO?
Oh my God. How do you know me?
Because...
How do you know me, Lucy? How do you know what I was going to say before I said it?
Because we both think in song, and if we're not thinking in song, we create skits in our head and characters we look at. And you're the character in my head. And when I was listening to Bad Bunny, all I could think about was, what are Marcela's favorite songs? The musical. I'm driving.
Oh, let's drive.
Wait, I drive stick when I listen to this.
Oh.
Get in the car!
Oh!
Get in the car!
I'm in.
Oh my gosh. We're going to talk about 49th Street. But
the best one.
The best one. Now we're going to the KFC because the lady started doing flan again.
Oh my God. Okay, I just needed that. I needed that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, explains
our
relationship in a nutshell. Like,
no, this is me in a nutshell. Help, I'm in a nutshell. Stop it.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to start using that. That was amazing. Lucy Lopez.
You're welcome, Austin Powers.
Oh.
The first movie.
I watched that when I was
When
so
he did
young.
that, I almost peed my pants. I was like, that is a brilliant joke. Why didn't I write that? That's you in a nutshell, Austin.
No.
Actually, this is me in a nutshell. Help, I'm in a nutshell.
Okay, first of all,
so dumb.
I am a little jealous of your British accent. Because my British accent starts like Cockney British and then goes into Hialeah within one instant. So it's like, hi, Lucy. What? I can't even fucking do it. I can't even do it.
So my daughter currently is playing the lead in Secret Gardens.
Shout out. Let's give her a little shout out.
Amelia's in Secret Gardens. It's a high school production. She's a freshman in high school. It's like a big deal.
Applause. I
live for the applause, live for the applause. And she's doing the entire character in a British accent. And I am so impressed that she doesn't break. And I don't know. It's like, it blows my mind. Like she's like knows the whole play.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you hold my gum, babe?
Oh, and that's on romance. If he doesn't hold your gum,
so much.
Throw him out. If he doesn't hold your gum when you are doing a podcast, don't keep him.
Is he worth it?
He swallowed it.
Yeah, babe. I don't know if That's like
I don't know
a
if that we
soundbite
like I don't know if we
really
needed that,
roll
but
well.
that was great. Thank you
You're not
for
on camera, so please stop. Just edit that out.
Okay. I feel like I am privileged enough to know the different Lucys, which I call like you have Lucy Lopez.
Yeah.
Then you have Lucia,
Yes.
which not a lot of people
No.
have access to.
No access. Access denied. VIP, negative equity loan. Turn around, take a cab home.
Get out of here.
Scram!
No, you know what's my new favorite one that I can't stop saying?
What is it?
Okay, have you seen Ashley Trevino?
Yes.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, everybody is.
I'm pissed. But whatever. You know Shorty Bay?
Shut it.
Shorty Bay.
Yeah.
Well, Ashley did a thing of like, if he doesn't get me an Airbnb, I'm going to Shotty Bay's house. Mm-hmm. And then Shotty Bay did a duet and was like, she's not coming to my house.
She's not coming to my house.
No, but she's not coming to my house.
She's not coming to my house.
Like she doesn't finish it. And now I say that, like, Eddie has no idea what I'm saying. And he'll say something that I don't like. And I'm like, she's not coming to my house.
This is wild because this morning or last night, my husband kind of, it was a conversation that we had because he says that there's a lot of inside jokes between me and our daughters. But like, I'm a fan of middle school humor. Like, I love middle school humor. Like, my goal in life is to write like a movie a la Adam Sandler, but a little con un toque de Kubich and a little bit of Quentin Tarantino. Anyways, and we have these inside jokes. And he's like, you know, sometimes you say things at the dinner table and then I'm looking at you guys and then you guys just kind of roll your eyes because I'm not in on the joke. He goes, I love that you guys have that relationship, but can you clue me in? And I go, I'm sorry, TikTok is over in a few days.
Yeah.
It's not my fault that you did not
It's
adjust.
not our fault that you didn't hop on the
TikTok
to learn
algorithm.
The new language of the world.
Because he said, because the other day I go, oh, you know how like I had to show him
What?
backpack. I had to show him that. And he goes, why does Amelia say that? And I go, oh, there's just a guy that dresses up like Dora.
Just
and
like
stealing stuff.
Just vote.
Just vote.
Just vote. I know I'm going to be out.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be out. Just vote. And
this
like,
is the most incoherent intro to a podcast I've ever been part of, but I want you to understand that it all makes sense.
It all makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, I had the privilege of knowing many versions of you. Which all connect to like who you are as a human.
That's really sweet of you.
And I feel like a lot of people who are going to watch this know you as this fucking badass personality who we all grew up listening to. And a couple different things. You just stepped into the acting world. You're like, you have so many different titles, which is beyond inspiring. I love you for so many different reasons. I think the thing I want to start talking about first, and then we can move on to things organically, is who you are in the pillar of Miami.
Right.
And it's funny because I think when you hear things like that, you're like, what do you mean? But you put so many people on the map. You are someone who is constantly pushing people to the front end to show others like what Miami is made of, the talent that's in Miami. You're a pillar in the community. There's no one who rides harder for Miami, for Hialeah, for just your culture than you.
Thank you, Marcela.
Oh,
that's really sweet of you.
Why didn't you cry?
Because I know that we're gonna cry later.
Just kidding.
And I don't know if I should cry right now, but that's really generous. That's a very generous thing that you said. It's not, I think it's very important for anyone who has any kind of spotlight on them to use that spotlight in a positive and uplifting way. It's not always easy, but I feel that makes me who I am. I don't, there's a lot of people currently right now that are creating that I am a secret fan of, that I'm just like, if I met them in person, I would like probably like faint, that I talk about in meetings that I'm having in creative circles. And I'm like, you should really think about this person. You should really consider, and they're like, who's that? I'm like, let me show you.
Yeah.
I love that. Earlier in my radio career, the one thing that really excited me was Thursdays. Thursdays was local music at the radio station. And a lot of massive artists were discovered on those Thursdays. So several, one in particular, Pitbull, but for me, it was always about like not what's next, but more so what's going to move me, what's going to stick to me, because there are a lot of people that came out of those Thursday listening sessions that maybe became really hot at that moment and have not had a longevity or kind of like layers to their career, like a Pitbull, like a Rick Ross. There's, I remember vividly listening to Dead Mouse's album. And we were all just like sitting there like, and people were like, and we're like, we need to play that. And that was Dead Mouse, who was already incredibly popular within what he did, but he was a mass. And I remember like our radio station was the first radio station to break his record. And it's for the team and the people that I worked with and my collaborators at the radio station, there was nothing more satisfying than being able to wear that badge of honor of like, no, we broke that, and it was a collective we. It wasn't like, oh, so-and-so brought that album to the room.
Which is something that I admire about you so much, is your constant collaboration.
I want to, because I don't think like as an artist, as a creative, you're not going to be able to grow unless you add that layer of collaboration to your resume. Like you need to be, and I'm talking about like your personal resume, like who you is as a person.
Right.
I'm just gonna, you gotta be able to look beyond what you're capable of doing. Yeah. Like you have to be able to stretch out your arm and be like, well, how does that person look at this? How do they look at this? Well, I have friends who are going to look at this and talk about the font. And I have other friends who are going to look at it and talk about the frame. And I have other friends who are like, oh, you know what? She should change out the background color per season. Like, I like to surround myself with people who view the world very differently than everybody else. Yeah. I'm friends with Mama Day Candy. Tell her that.
No, it's like
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
There's a vibe to that. It is often imitated but never perfectly duplicated.
Ever.
There are some creatives out there who think they are Miami, and it's cool. Like, I get it. I understand the allure of saying you're from the 305, but are you really from the 305? And I'm not talking about like knowing the pain of traffic on the Palmetto at 4:00 in the afternoon between 103rd and the ramp up to I-75.
Right.
To those who live in Miramar. I'm not talking about that 305-ness. I'm talking about like, do you know about 2 a.m. pizza at Cazzola's? Like, do you know, the Cuban spaghetti at Ray's Pizza, but not the Ray's Pizza on 49th.
Right.
The Ray Pizza in East Hialeah that is specifically served after like 7 p.m. It's like perfect because they just thawed the meat sauce. Those are things that for me, if you're a creative in the city that understands those teeny tiny nuances, I mean, you're going to have the city in your pocket. But what are you going to do with that?
Right.
Are you going to give back? A great example of that is Crazy Hood Productions and the Drink Champs and, DJ EFN and Garcia. And those are people that I admire from home team, home base. They're massive. They have massive platforms, but they always come back to square one, which is their backyard is Kendall. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of stuff in Hialeah that nobody knows about. And I really like that. I really like it. the spotlight is fun, but the spotlight can really burn you.
Yeah.
So going back to that whole, like, you know, you collaborate and you're always sharing, you have to know who to share with, because that's an energy that you are doling out at your expense and not their expense.
Right.
You have to be very picky, very choosy. My circle is very tight, very small.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said. And I just, well, it's true, I had a C-section. But I think that when you have a tight, close-knit group of friends who are secure in what they do creatively, it's okay to allow other people in because it's like you share it. You share what you guys have.
Right.
And they may not stick with you forever, but they're going to leave with something of you. They're going to always leave the circle like, man, those are cool people. I want to hang out with those people.
You said something that really like caught my attention, which is the spotlight burns you out.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit. We'll get back into Miami because
anxiety.
It is not fun. And if you don't have anxiety, how does it feel to be God's favorite?
It feels great.
Wow.
But yeah, burns
out. Being and we've talked about this on the pod before, and we'll continue to talk about it. Being a creative and dealing with mental health. Not taking away from anybody else who deals with mental health. Sure. Everyone's journey with mental health is completely different. But I think as a creative, there's something that hits you a little
stronger, a little deeper.
Yeah. And if you're a creative and an empath,
goodbye.
This is gonna be a hard life for you. But it's okay. We're gonna start a support group. We're gonna do it.
I think that for me personally, there are times where I have blackout months where I will not do anything. Just as recently as November, I finished a big project and I looked at my husband. I was like, all right, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I need to leave. And we left. I'm blessed that I have that opportunity to pack our kids and our dog in our car and take off to the mountains of Georgia.
Yeah.
Terrified and scared because of the Confederate flags, but we're not gonna go there. But when we did get there, I told all our kids, don't talk unless, like, if somebody talks to you, I'll answer for you. If they hear your accent. Did you ever see an interview with DMX where DMX is interviewing a woman and she was like frightened by him and he goes, "Arr, arr, arr, dog smells blood." That's basically how it feels when I go to Georgia, although I love it. Anyways, you have to take a break.
Because they can smell that you're from Miami.
Yes. Well, I don't travel to Broward without my passport. But what I will say is that when you're in a situation where you are creative and you are spewing all this energy and you're on your game and you're doing, eventually you're going to crash.
Yeah.
But you learn from those crashes.
Right.
Now, when I'm in a project where it is like boom, 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 go, 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 I always make sure I have another project in the waiting, which was a big mistake I did when I did Grace, #Grace, a play written by Vanessa Garcia and directed by Victoria Collado and Sarah Hayes. And I was, I had a part in that play, pretty big part, I guess.
A fantastic part, and you were amazing in it.
And when it finished,
so the post-show blues, which is a real thing.
I had no idea that existed.
It is crazy.
And it was really bad.
Yeah.
And I reached out to you.
Yes, you did.
I'm like, what do I do?
And I was like, girl, welcome to your first post-show blues.
They are terrible.
And it's funny because I am and I've learned to not be like this anymore. And that's thanks to Eddie Fuentes. But I was like you, I was doing a project and that's where my whole heart, soul, mind, everything
fuck that
was
shit.
On that project. And when I was doing Amparo, written by Vanessa Garcia and Victoria Collado.
Yeah.
He told me, like, I think it was like 5 months in, figure out what you're going to do. What's next? You're on this momentum. You're on this high. What is next? And I'm like, I'll worry about that when it comes. And after Amparo, a couple months later, granted, COVID hit, but Amparo's post-show blues, we were doing it for 8 months.
You have a massive part in that production.
It was...
Like the singing? It was like...
It was...
Oh my God. Who didn't fall in love with you, aside from Eddie? Who did not fall in love with you, Marcela?
Stop.
Please. Stop. That's why I was like, babies in this play. We got to go see Baby play. By the way, for those who don't know, many of us in the industry call Marcela Baby.
Many.
No, it's terrible.
I have a couple different...
Fucking magria. We call him Baby.
Baby, little baby.
Little baby. Don't be mean to Baby.
Don't be mean to Baby.
Slashing tires.
Don't be mean to Baby.
Don't fucking be mean to Marcela.
Don't. Because I got Lucy and she has all the Chicos and Hialeah on speed dial plus...
Ooh, do anything for a shout out on my stories for a pack of pills.
Plus...
Just kidding. That doesn't even happen anymore, kids.
Eddie Fuentes is a Chico when he needs to be a Chico.
He's the best. But I don't think that when you're in there, when you're in that creative high, you don't have time to think about what's next.
You don't.
It's when you book it that you're like, fantastic.
Okay,
I need to figure out, I need to know what's next. And and what happened to me was, that in October, when I did Steven's Deli, A Love Story, also written by Vanessa Garcia and directed by Victoria Collado. Do you see the pattern here?
Thank you.
Jinx. Anyways, I was going to say something so disgusting.
Don't, Lucy.
I'm not because my husband's here and he was like, oh yeah. Anyways, I'll say it after. So during the production of this thing, I'm like, I have to do the thing that I have to do. Like I have to. So when I got booked, I immediately
started booking.
I went Jamin, AKA Hamon. And I'm like, I need to find it. And I found something. And as soon as that production was over, I was in another production. But when that production was over, I was like, get me the fuck out of the 305.
It becomes a lot. And I think, like, for example, right? So I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, I cannot do that. The only reason after Laughs in Spanish, I didn't have anything is because I had a broken ankle and I was like recovering.
Yeah.
But
Laughs in Spanish.
Directed by Victoria Collado.
Yeah. Written by Alexis Shear, who is a Miami-Dade
native.
Muchachita, Colombiana, Jewish. And she wrote that play and she's like an amazing person. She sold that.
She's amazing. I love that really show.
Everybody in that play was from 305.
Yeah.
And the set decoration, the set production, like what it looked like, the prettiness, all that was by Dee Dee Rock.
Yep.
Who, I got her to do all that. And she is one of the godmothers of Wynwood Walls. Yeah. She is one of the most prolific graffiti artists, muralists to come out of Miami. She is from Peru. She's Miami, 305.
She did the whole like background. She did the background. Plus all the
paintings that were
hanging.
Like she did like a Wynwood mural in front of the stage.
I broke my leg 2 days before the show, and she got a walker and like
spray painted her walker for her.
It was a great show.
Yeah. You did great, and that was your first time on that stage, right?
Which was...
Because before, they wouldn't allow people that looked like you to be on that stage in the 305. Damn, Lucy, why'd you have to go there? I did.
No, I think for me is that I know my characters. And I'm very aware of, like, I'm not going to go in for a show that's heavily, about the Jewish culture because that's not where I land. So it was always this thing of like, there was never a moment for me to be on that stage. And I think I stopped looking after a while because
you get discouraged.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, what do you mean I can't book anything? What do you mean there are no plays that are reflective of what's happening here 2 feet away from this stage? What? That sounds crazy.
And that's in a lot of unfortunately, a lot of South Florida like theater, you
Yeah.
know? But having the for me, it was an honor to be on that stage because growing up as a young actor in South Florida, places like Gable Stage, places like Actors Playhouse, those are theaters that you grew up going to, and that's where your love. Like, I was in second grade when I saw Alexander's No Good, Very Bad Day in Actors Playhouse, and I told my mom, that's what I want to do. So for me, it felt like such an honor. And then when you meet everyone at Gable Stage, and Vicky and I talked about this.
But
and
things have changed.
Oh,
drastically.
You know, Barry
Thank
Newport
God.
is
She's a badass.
Yeah, she's a badass. And just like the whole team is so amazing that, you know, my whole incident, like, even though I broke my ankle and tore my meniscus and it was this whole thing, I was like as happy as a pig in shit. Like, it was because I loved what I was doing.
It was an amazing experience. I remember just seeing you up on stage, like just gleaming with joy and just so happy and so thankful.
And like,
but it was like you were feeling like that. Every actor was feeling like that. The people that filled in as the DJ of the event were feeling like that. Dee Dee Rock, the director, Barry Newport, everybody that was part of this production really felt like they were making a change because they were.
Yeah.
Because again, what are you doing? You're extending, you're using your spotlight, you're sharing it with others who can make a creative difference here in our city. And that's what's really fucking important.
Which,
it's not bullshit. Like, we're not just saying
no,
it to
we're
say
not.
it actually works, but you have to believe it. If you don't believe it, it's not gonna work. Clap if you want the fairy to be alive. Get with it.
Get with it. I want to take our conversation a little, since we're talking acting and all that stuff. When I was first introduced to Lucy Lopez, I also was introduced to different characters. And I think something that I love about you that people are now learning more, because you're being a lot more open about it. Before, you were a little more like,
I just don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
Is the talent that you have to create these characters and the worlds that they're from.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the honor of having like one of those characters. I want to talk about your process with how these characters come about.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they come from? Because all characters come from one single truth.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though it can be totally made up, but there's something about that character that you know you've seen out on the street before, or you've met before. Mm-hmm. So I want to know your process. I want to know what's the first character that you created. Mm-hmm. And then I want to talk a little bit about Theater Baby.
Okay.
So let's hear your characters. And you have a couple.
Yeah, the first character I created was Lucy Lopez. Bing.
Can we do
Bing bang.
The first character I created was Lucy.
Can
Say
we
that
do like
again.
A bass drop?
Yeah.
Like a
Ready?
Boom.
Listen, editor.
Like
do
broken Fosgate 12s, please.
Okay, ready? Say that again. The first character.
The first character I created was Lucy Lopez. Boom. An air horn will do.
That was fun. I wish I would have been prepared for the air horn. I thought it was going to be like a drop thing.
I wanted like a stereo system that was broken
But it's okay. You did the best you could. We appreciate you.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So Lucy Lopez is a lot of who I am for real and a lot of what middle school me wanted to be when I grew up. So there's that. Lucy Lopez is my cousin Natalie, Stephanie, Diana.
Okay.
Lucy Lopez is 100% Palm Springs Middle School me.
Palm Springs Middle School.
Yes. Go Pacers. So, yeah.
Where did you go for elementary?
I went to Sylvia School, which was a small little private school off of West 68th in the Cut, like when white people still live there. So, yeah, there. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so she was your first,
Yeah. And then my second was Chula.
which was my first, like
Experience.
Chula was my first experience.
Yeah. So Chula was, I wrote, the original idea behind Chula was creating a character for us to give away tickets to Ultra. And then they wanted, we need to come up with a fun way to give away tickets to Ultra. And I go, I have a character that wants to come on, and everybody thought it was like someone that I was bringing to the radio station. And I'm like, yeah, it's someone I'm bringing to a radio station. Which is something I learned that, like, to always be like, yeah. I learned that from one of my mentors in the beginning of my career, Kenny Bernstein, and he wouldn't show people scripts to things till the moment, like, now you can read it. Which is kind of what I did with you guys too. I was just like, nope, you read the script here in the studio, and it stays, and then you give it back to me, you go home. Which I love working that way. So anyways, I wrote this character, Chula, and Chula is my brother George, who's no longer with us. He named his car, which was a black Trans Am, and the name of the car was Chula. So I named her after my brother's car. And then Chula is 7th grade me.
Okay.
Who went to Harvard and has like an amazing degree in vocabulary. But like when she talks, like everything is nasally. And when she really talks, is like kind of like an exaggeration of who she is. So it's like all from up here and the back of her throat, which is really like a lot, like it's a little West Kendall, but like a lot East Hialeah. Because the majority of the girls back then, they used to talk like on the back of their throat and their nose. So it's like a little macriadita. But then what would make her like really, really amazing was that like, bro, let me tell you, we're going to Ultra, and I would intertwine into her the way that she would speak and into her, like the layers of that character with like real life situations.
Yes.
So it was like she would say things like, you know, I'm going to go to Ultra and I promise you I'm going to get on stage. And then be like, but first, let me pull over and donate to this animal shelter who's, you know, and it was like, just like these
random.
Like, what the fuck? And I remember I was onto something when I asked Sean Paul to be a character on one of the seasons. And Sean Paul literally died laughing in front of me. He was like, this is the most ridiculous, the funniest shit I've ever read in my life. And I was like, oh, cool. And I had no idea that I needed validation from a dance hall superstar. But apparently I did. And I remember him just like really loving it. And then what really, I'm going to get emotional, what really fucking like just blew my mind.
I wonder if we're thinking about the same thing. Go.
Was that when people like Oscar G and David Guetta and Derek, just like these people that I was just like, oh my God, you're the best, were getting the joke. And at the time, Instagram was just becoming a thing. Yeah. And I remember like Oscar G once told me, he goes, you're fucking crazy. That shit is hysterical. And I'm like, I'm making the coolest guy laugh and understand my joke. It blew my fucking mind.
Well,
because I needed the validation of the cool kids in the 305.
Right.
Because I'm not a cool kid. But then when I saw the cool kids were like digging, I was like, oh shit, I think I might be onto something. And
it's
then
crazy.
It just exploded.
I just want to take a second.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you say you're not a cool kid.
I'm not.
Holy crap. When it's like one of the things that Eddie Fuentes is this 6'1" Chico Hialeah, like
with that beard,
hip hop rap, like that's who he is. One of our first like connections was talking about you. And he's like, I can't believe like you know Lucy like that. And I'm like, I can't believe I know Lucy like that. Chula, I did 2 skits with Chula.
Yeah.
We did the Christmas Nochebuena one, which was hysterical.
Fantastic.
And then we did one with Bob Saget.
Yeah.
And to this day, I can't believe.
Yeah.
And I have a picture of everyone in the room hysterically laughing because the skit was so great. This character is someone that we all know.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, is someone that's inside of us just a little bit.
Well, she is like this essence, this like, it's like when you walk into Macy's and it smells like perfumes, like she's that. Like you're like, oh yeah, I recognize that voice. I recognize that nasally. I recognize that vibe. I recognize that girl who will come in here, probably has a knife in her purse, will fucking cut somebody, but also understands what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah.
And that to me is what really is the base of any Miami girl.
Amen.
The problem is what other people want Miami girls to be. And that I refuse to bow down to. Like, nah, bitch.
No, and I think the older, I think when I was in college, I went to a conservatory. At that time, I think it's changed a lot now, but at the time was very old school theater. And the whole thing with me was like, the way you talk, you're never gonna get work the way you talk.
Yeah, about that.
And I remember thinking my senior year of college, damn, if I have to change who I am to my core, because Marcela Margarita Paguaga is from Hialeah, born and raised. She does have a Hialeah accent. When I get pissed, it does come out a lot more. And there was this uneasy feeling of like, I have to change who I am, the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I move, the way I carry myself, because I'm not gonna like make it in this industry.
I was fortunate where when I started off my career, there were good and there were terrible things, right?
Right.
The good part was that I leached onto like certain people that I'm like, oh, they have my sense of humor. Cool. They get me, I get them. Great. And I remember cutting my first commercial. Actually, this is a really great story about my accent. This is like years into my career. Like I want to say like a good 5 years. 401 Pain came into the studio.
Oh my God.
And they wanted me to cut a commercial for them. And I'm reading the script and I'm like laughing. Oh my God, this is, wow, we're really, okay, whatever. I get in the booth and it's time to say the phone number. And people, like, you don't understand, like, you could get away with so much on a commercial. So the way that I would say 411 pain, I said that in every single commercial. And the reason why I would say pain, it was because it was a joke between me and my cousin Natalie. Because my cousin Natalie, who is from Kendall, when she says things, she's very like, no, I don't think so. Bro, like, everybody here's a pain. I have nothing to do with anybody here. And it's like this Kendall thing about her. And I was like, it's like, to me, it's like when you hear your favorite song and it's like this candy, this ear candy. And I fucking love it.
Okay.
And I was like, I am going to sneak in Natalie into this commercial. So I cut the spot. I don't think anything about it. Commercial goes on the radio, whatever. I call my cousin, I go, turn on the radio so you can hear that commercial where like I'm shouting you out. She was like, what the fuck are you saying? So I call her. She's like listening. She's like, you're so stupid. Goodbye. And hangs up. Knows exactly that when I say pain, it's her. It's for her. Right?
Yeah.
Then another radio station in Orlando picked up my commercial. And what they did was they dedicated an entire morning show making fun of me. And they compare me to Dora the Explorer. They ripped me apart. What kind of production is this? This is terrible. This girl's voice is so annoying. That accent. How can we allow this commercial to be on the radio? And to deal with haters that are not from Miami, and also when you're creative like me, like I was just being funny. I was being creative in something that I found so mundane and so fucking boring.
Right.
Anyways, I ended up endorsing them for like 6 years after that. I was on every commercial from here to North Carolina, and I would say it pain just like that because the owners loved it.
Yeah.
Have no idea that I was making fun of my cousin, had no idea that it was a shout out to my cousin. Everything that I do is with intention, is what I'm trying to get at. And my accent, my Hialeah accent, I can't get rid of it.
No.
I remember when I go back on air after being on Christmas break, the joke with Zog would always be, I can tell you've been with the family. Were you around the cousins all week? And I go he goes, because that accent today está encendido.
Oh my gosh.
And I love it. I love it. When I hear it.
When I hear my accent, like I'm like, damn girl, that was sexy. Good for you.
That's deep. Like people like Hello Teffy or y'all like, I can't talk about her too much.
I had a dream a couple months ago.
Her. I'm going to meet her.
Okay, well, I had a dream a couple months ago that she was on my pod. I am in love with her. Mm-hmm. Like, she's the best. From the beginning, I love how this is gonna turn into a like Teffy like fan club. Like, but from the beginning, since I got on TikTok in 2020, I was just like obsessed with her.
She's great. She is the most Miami person on TikTok. I said it. Eat it. She's her. Really great at what she does. And one of my favorite things about her is she's like very upfront. Like, yeah, it's a Miami accent. It's like.
And what's crazy to me
so good.
From that moment in 2014 to now is that I can't even tell you how many characters I have booked that have a heavy Miami accent that I've had to actually like
enforzarlo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, dude, who would have thought? Like, who would have thought? But okay, so we have Lucy Lopez, we have Chula.
And then there's obvious Theater Baby. So Theater Baby is a character that I created to promote the theater world here in Miami.
Yeah.
And I had a really great conversation with Vicky the other day because she's like, I think you should be the showrunner for Theater Baby. So like the plan is like giving you the password, having you go off, but I have like final say on scripts and shit. But it's a whole other conversation, not for a podcast. So Theater Baby is 100%, well, no, it's like, I would say it's a little bit me, but it's all of what I think Marcela is that she's not. So it's a severe exaggeration of Marcela. Like if Marcela were to be egotistical, all about herself, fuck these hoes kind of personality that I know she may have because I have that shit in me too. But like if it were outward, if it were out there for the world to see, this is who Theater Baby is. Theater Baby is a character who thinks she's better than every other actress that ever set foot on any stage, on any TV show, in any movie set. Like she is it. She goes around saying she critiques theater, never has critiqued a show in her life.
Yeah. Like she is South Florida's #1 theater critic.
But has never actually sat through an entire show. So
something that
I love that about her.
So there's a lot of things I love about Theater Baby. When you called me and like told me, the thing is like Lucy Lopez can call me, just like Victoria can call me and tell me, hey, I need you to roll around in shit. Just trust me. I'll be like, okay, it's fine. Can I wear a mask? Like, you know what I mean? Like anything that you bring to me, I'm like, yes, and. Aww. So you talked to me a little bit about this character, but I didn't really understand her.
I love that.
And I said, you know what?
I'll meet her when I meet her. And we did our first thing with Brightline.
Off the bat, we had a sponsor.
Off the bat. And there something, okay, so it's funny that you said Theater Baby was me, because Theater Baby is everything that like I wish I could be, in the way of like, she has this confidence.
Zero gives a fuck.
Zero gives a fuck. And you're
Yeah.
probably thinking, Marcela, you're playing this character. Like,
No.
But
It's not Marcela.
something happens when I put her sunglasses on. Everybody remembers Big Daddy, right?
Yeah.
With Adam Sandler and the fucking twins.
Yeah. You know that's Paul Thomas Anderson's favorite Adam Sandler movie?
That's one of my favorite Adam Sandler.
That's his favorite.
That's like one of my like top there. You know when he like puts on the glasses and he tells him, all you have to do is put on these glasses and no one can see you. You're like invisible.
Yeah.
There was something about, and I was nervous about Theater Baby because it's like, you had a vision for her, and I was like, I need to make sure that I hit that vision. And I put these glasses on, and this accent and like person came into my body, and I like, to the point that I'm like, why do I know who she is?
Yeah, because she's everything that you don't want to be.
Right.
Marcela.
And everything
And
I
you
don't want
know-
to be, but at the same time, like this confidence, and it's the way that you write her. But also I think it's the way you and I work.
Connect.
Like
Yeah.
without even like talking. Like if you would see us when we would shoot Theater Baby, it was like, okay, so I want you to do, and I would look at you and be like, yeah, and then that, and you, like we wouldn't
Yeah.
literally use full sentences. It was like, yeah, that. And then when you do, got it, and do this. Okay.
I'm a fan of creating characters that are insanely familiar but have nothing in common with the person who's portraying them. So, and I think I have a serious bone in me.
But like, you know what?
Thank you.
Life,
for you. That was for my husband.
And Eddie Fuentes would say, I have a serious bone in me too.
I can put you in.
But I've just like learned that like life is so short.
I know. So I love writing comedy. Like that's my thing. Like I love it. I love it. And I get discouraged a lot. Like I have 2 scripts right now. One of them is with my daughter.
Love.
One of them is the one that I told you that I wrote this really fun script that is kind of like Theater Baby, but not really. It's a little bit more serious. It's more like I want to say like comedy dramedy kind of vibe, and it's with Marcela in mind. And then I'm currently writing stand-up for myself, so that's interesting. I think I don't even ask me. I'm just writing.
Good.
Writing. But I feel that with Theater Baby, going back to Theater Baby is interesting because when Marcela acts, when you act like Theater Baby and then you're not Theater Baby, people come up to you and like, hey, and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And that's one of my favorite things about working with you, that you understand, like, we left her in the booth, like, keep walking.
Oh yeah,
but you get it, you understand it.
Yeah.
And some actors that I've worked with in the past don't really like that, like, no, that's dumb.
And you should see people, the looks that I get from people, because they're like,
because Theater Baby is mean as fuck.
Because no, and it's of like, oh my God, Theater Baby. And I'm like, oh. And I'll always say something like, people say we look alike. Like, and it's just like.
Which is interesting because people always tell me, you sound so familiar. Like, I feel like I know you. I'm like, I have no idea.
No idea. You didn't
clue.
just grow up hearing my
clue
voice for
how
years.
you know me.
Yeah.
But I feel that with Theater Baby, like, there's so much room for her to grow. And even the bits that we did where we even introduced, which is like wild to me, that we sort of introduced Eddie in a weird way.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like an obvious Eddie. Like Eddie could be anybody. Like we could literally replace him with some other guy.
Yeah.
And it would be like, like it doesn't change who she is because it's all about her.
Right.
She's like this very like rich, decadent character. Like imagine like a big bowl of chocolate ice cream with chocolate syrup and chocolate sprinkles and brownies and all that on top. And you're looking at it, you're like, do I really need to eat this? I'm like, yeah, you need to eat this. And she convinces you eat it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I love that about her.
No,
She's
it's
amazing.
funny because in the beginning, because she is so mean, I would like tell people like right before I had to like interview them, like, hey, please, like this is all a bit, whatever. And Eddie saw me doing that with like 2 people and he said, you're not telling anybody else.
Stop anybody. Yeah.
Stop.
I think you did that at New City Players.
Because it was my first time.
Yeah, and you told Tim, was his name Tim?
Tim
Yeah.
and I think one of the actors.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know them.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be like, the first time this girl meets me, I am a raging. Because one of the things I told her was, so let me ask you a question. How did it feel to know that you took my role from me?
Yeah.
That's the type
And
of
those
questions,
are the questions that
theater
I wrote for her. And I'm like, oh, say this, but when you say it, I want you to come in as a compliment.
Yeah.
And for an actor to nail that is really difficult. I'll give you a great example, just a very recent example of somebody who knows how to do that. Nikki Glazer.
Oh, yeah.
When she hosted the Golden Globes, the way that she hosted that, where she's like looking at, you know, Timothy Chalamet, and he's like, she goes, oh, I like that. He goes, you look great. I love your whole look. I love the hair on top of your lip. Those eyelashes look great on you. Like she goes in to like murder you, but then
which is what I love about Theater Baby is like she's like, wow, you did such an amazing role. You did such an amazing job that I didn't even notice that was actually supposed to be my role.
My role.
Like
it's wild.
It literally.
Yeah.
I love her.
Those are my favorite moments when you had those moments with when Theater Baby had those moments with real actors and they're just looking at her like this. And also I'm a fan of the way they would shoot the confessionals in The Office. So I'm a fan of that. So we would film it. I would just come up real close and pretend it was like a real serious thing. And Marcela was like, I really love what you did with that character. And then when I knew she was about to hit the punchline and kill them with kindness, I would pull away the phone like a quick full shot just to catch the actor's body, like the way their body reacted to what Theater Baby would say. Oh, no, I fucking love that.
I love her so much that like at least every week I tell Eddie, I need to call Lucy. We got to do something with theater because also Theater Baby does something for my psyche.
I know it does.
And does something for me as a performer. I feel like she gives me this confidence of like, you can do it. Like, just do it. Just who cares?
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Like, but, and we're going to go a little bit. That's who you are. When I say pillar in this community, that's who you are of like, yo, go do your art. Fail 100 times.
Yeah.
Get back up. Do it. You have 2 girls at home.
Yeah.
Who are, and I've always told you from the moment that we met, that those 2 girls are incredibly talented.
Yeah.
As a creative.
Sure.
How do you navigate being a parent, seeing creatives right in front of you, and being a creative and catering to both to make sure that they feel safe and feel like, oh, I can create my art and mom and dad are gonna love me and love it no matter what.
Yeah. My husband and I have a really great relationship. That's number one. Like my husband and I we can finish each other's sandwiches. We are, he is special.
No, to see you guys together, it's like lovers, but like best friends, which I know is so cliche. It's like, oh, but you have to be best friends with your...
Like Gino is the best. Yeah. And Gino, for those who are lucky enough to know him, understand that he is incredibly laid back and has a sick sense of humor.
Yes.
His sense of humor is borderline, like, I'm like, please stop. And we've created like a name for when he's that way, and it's Alabaster. And so stupid. Stanley, I'm sorry, his name is Stanley Alabaster.
He corrected you.
And Stanley Alabaster is a fucking pain in the ass. And he's gross, and it's all the things. But Gino, the father and the husband, is one of the most amazing people ever.
Yeah.
When you have to be real sure of who you are to be with me, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a Sagittarius, he's a Leo.
Woo!
The fights are astronomically vicious and hysterical.
I love it.
I have been arguing with my husband, looking at him, and have literally cackled, and he's laughed right back at me, and it's been that's our relationship, you know? But the key to parenting these little creatives is that we're both on the same wavelength. Our home, you walk into our house, we have pianos, we have guitars. My kid has a beat maker. They're painting. I have 2 theater kids. It is constant singing. We're always listening to music. We only watch funny shows. We only watch funny movies. My children are amazing. And also we focus big time on school and grades and things that obviously that you need to focus on. But when they are home, it's 100% go. Do what you got to do.
Right.
You know, this is your space to create and be a wonderful little creative human being. We have a green screen in our garage. They just pick up and go. My daughter's constantly playing the piano. All I asked of her was, can you just learn mommy's favorite songs? So she plays like Dre. She plays Kanye West on the piano.
Oh my God.
She had picked up the ukulele and now can play I'm a Creep. Is it Creep by Radiohead? She plays Radiohead on the ukulele. They are those kids.
Yeah.
Avery, as you know, is my teeny tiny.
Oh my God.
She's 12 years old, and she will literally get up on top of a table in our home and sing to us a song.
When you watch this podcast, you're going to pause it in this section. You're going to pause. You're going to go to Lucy's Instagram. You're going to scroll, and there's going to be a video of Gino kneeling next to her.
Yeah.
And she's sitting down singing Olivia
Rodrigo.
Vampire.
Yeah.
I've watched it maybe more times than I probably should have.
Yeah.
It's just like, and this is just one of many songs that I've like heard her like sing, and it's just, I started at her age. So it was just like, it was something that I'm like, Lucy, you have to, and this is before they got into like theater. This was years ago.
Yeah, they're doing theater now at school, and you know, Gino was in chorus in high school, so her singing chops are not from me, but her comedic timing is.
No, and they're both so funny and so
funny. Like Avery is the weirdo funny, like her dad, and then Amelia is just.
Amelia's like the
she's 30. Amelia is now 14. She's 14 going on 40.
Like Amelia, I feel is like someone like does something she would be like, that was a choice.
Yes,
like that's who like. She's like,
yeah,
okay, that's what you wanna, you know.
Yeah,
but also like. The sweetest.
She's the sweetest kid. She's really into her art, and she's a science geek too. So she's always tinkering. She's always, you know, like talking to me about science and, oh, did you find out they discovered this planet? And did you know this? And did you know that? And let me tell you about Earth and da da da. And it is phenomenal, like to hear somebody her age so interested in science and then is like really great at acting and singing.
Also, what I think you both do as parents is that you encourage it all.
All of it. I grew up in a household where, okay, to give you context, my mom is the youngest of 13.
Holy moly.
So all of my first cousins are literally like 60, 70 years old. So and then their kids, I grew up with their kids, right? So the comparison growing up was really tough because coming to this country, you got to get a real job. So all of my cousins are either engineers in, cops, computer scientists, like that, though, especially the ones that live in New York, and I was complete opposite. And I would just be like, I don't want to be a computer scientist. What the fuck is that? Shit sounds boring. And meanwhile, like my cousin, Jorge created a thing for the stealth bomber at the age of 19.
Yeah. Like
don't even get me started. So there's that in my family. And then there's me.
Which was kind of like me and my sisters. Honor roll, ape. But, the reason I say that you guys allow everything is we grew up with a single mom who is the best of the best. And she realized that she had 3 very different daughters.
Right.
My older sister, we're all creatives. My older sister is an incredible painter. Like she used to draw like these crazy things. Like she's musically inclined. But her thing was school and sports. And my mom knew that. Then there was me, who like from the age of 8 was in theater, like could not, I was dyslexic. I had a lot of different learning disabilities. So school was not my favorite, not my thing. But I have a mom who was like, okay, she's not a schoolgirl. She's a creative. Let me feed into that. And I'll tell you why. And then my little sister was a dancer, but also AP and all this stuff. School came really hard to me. And it was not that I never, like I wasn't trying. Right. I was in ESC. I had the tutors. I had everything. It was just like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this. And everybody has their different. I was a BC kid while my sisters were like A kids. And at one point my mom said, okay, but she's a creative and she's really good.
So let's pour into that.
Yeah. Now, my sisters would come home with a B and my mom was like, what the hell is this? I wouldn't get a role in a show or like something. Sure. And she's like, what's going on? Like, why didn't you get the lead on that? So she put pressure on me where she knew that I was going to like really like succeed in. But also we were allowed to bring in new ideas. If I wanted to do something, my mom was never the mom that was like, no, please don't. Like, it was always like, okay, and what do you want to do next?
So to give you an idea of where I grew up.
Yeah.
So my dad didn't really believe I was on the radio until he heard Neil Rogers shout me out. And that's when he was like, oh, you're like on the radio. And it was like year 5. And he loves me. Don't get me wrong. My dad loves me, obviously. But that was like, oh, okay. And then my mom took on more of a manager role for me. She saw the money in what I was doing. So immediately with that first paycheck, she was like, ahorrar, vamos a comprar property. So I fortunately had a mom who was like very like, okay, whatever you're doing, okay, but let's save the money, save the money.
And do you find passing that down to the girls?
Well, I think, yes, but they've kind of like, Amelia, who's 14, talks a lot about wanting to become an entertainment lawyer so she can manage her sister.
Oh my God, I love that.
So like I'll catch her saying shit like, did you record Avery this when she was doing ballet? Yeah, that would be really great for the documentary later. Oh so God. They speak in that language, which terrifies me because I am a firm believer in manifestation. And I manifested my radio career. I said it out loud. It was in a sleepover. My friends have it on tape. My cousin has it on video.
Oh my God.
Like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the next Bo Griffin. And then later there's a video of me with my brother George being like, I'm going to be just as popular as Howard Stern, but only in Miami. And those are things that when you're young and, you know, that portal on the top of your head is open, things happen. And when I hear my daughters speak about their future, it scares me because I know that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know? And Gino and I have always like, you know, he comes from a whole other background of life, which that's his story to tell. But through our relationship, there are things that I've incorporated in our family life that he's like, I wish my parents would have done just this much of what you do and what we do together as a family, you know? I don't think that my mom had no idea what to do with all the things that I was doing.
Right.
And I would always tell my mom, I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to be a funny writer. And she would just be like, what the fuck? And the reason why she would do not what the fuck is because I skipped second grade and went right from first to third. I graduated high school when I was 16. So I had the resume of somebody who was probably going to go off and be that engineer that everybody else was in the family, or a doctor. And I was like, no, I'm like way too funny for this. You know, I'm influenced by Que Pasa USA, Kung Fu Theater, Beastie Boys, Two Life Crew, Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, Tina Fey, Mindy Kaling, who's way younger than me, but still. Like, those are my, you know, those are people that I know. I know shit like that. I have a film degree.
Yeah.
And people don't know that.
Right.
And I incorporated that into writing these characters for the radio. I incorporated that in writing intros to the top of songs. I incorporated that when I'm creating for a client. Like, those are all things. But my mom never really understood, and but she never gave me shit for it either.
Right.
She was there, yo no sé lo que tú vas a hacer con tu vida. My mom never uttered that shit to me. My mom was like, where's that check? Cash it. Let's go.
Yeah.
My mom is like, let's just say I'm really happy my mom wasn't like a drug, like she had like the makings of a fantastic drug dealer.
Very Giselle.
Just money. How much? Let's put it away and let's invest. Vamos. And when you grow up with somebody like that, they don't look at you. She never looked at me like, what are you going to do when you grow up? She was more like, all right, well, how much we talking? Well, this much. Well, can you get more?
Yeah.
And when you grow up with somebody like that in the house, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
So for me, with my kids, G knows that. And I'm the one that's like, read that joke back to me. And she'll read it to me. And I'm like, what do you think is missing? She'll be like, I'll be back. And she'll come. Like, she's right now, I'm talking about Amelia now. Amelia's goal is to hit the Miami Improv stage in the summer. She's like, I'm going to figure it out. It's going to happen, right? So I'm helping her craft 3 minute set. And the jokes are fucking funny. Why? Because it's a 14-year-old girl.
Right.
From Miami.
Right.
Who has us as parents, who, you know, just little things that she says in her stand-up that I'm like, you can punch this up here. And we just had a conversation about punching up jokes because I get mad if I say a joke at the dinner table and everybody laughs. Why do you have to punch it up, honey? He was like, all great comedians have friends who punch up jokes. They even get paid. I'm like, I don't care. Don't punch up my jokes. So we live in that house. That's our house. And that's the environment that we have. But we also have an environment where if my kid wants to sit down and talk to me about, you know, for an hour straight about the moon, guess what? We're talking about the moon for 20 fucking minutes.
Right. As someone who has her own journey with mental health and a creative, and we touched that a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you prepare?
Check out without checking out? No, just kidding.
So 2 things. Yeah. How do you teach them about mental health in a way that they understand it? And how do you, when you have those days that you need to check out, how do you handle that?
So here's something crazy, kids, I'm about to share with you. When you're in a loving, nurturing relationship, we do this crazy thing called tap out.
Mm.
And there's days where I tell my husband, I'm at about 20% right now. Can you tap in? Because that whole thing of like, marriage is 50-50, that is bullshit. Marriage is not 50-50. There's some days where I'm at 100 and I got everything and I'm spinning plates and I'm doing the whole things. And then there are other moments where, bitch, I'm not spinning all the plates. And you have to be very, very open with who you're with. Now, if you're solo dolo, right? You need to work on yourself. You need to find the tools that allow you to reach within to fix whatever's happening, or at least to live through whatever's happening.
Right.
In our house, when I need a moment, babe, I am not having a good day today. All right, I'll take over. Aquí no se va a cocinar. Dial Uber. I am not doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and vice versa. My husband's come home and is like, I've seen 30 clients today. I want nothing to do. Can you? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
It has to be that in our house. It has to be. With our children, I am brutally honest with my kids.
Good.
When I had a moment where, you know, my mother is a breast cancer survivor, and I've documented some of the stuff on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And the first year that she had it, the second year that we just went through, I am my mom's caretaker. Like, that is a whole other hat that we don't have enough time on this podcast to discuss. But when we were going through that, I was very honest with my daughters. This is what abuela has. This is what we're going through. When you become a caretaker of your parent, all of a sudden your house becomes a multi-generational home, which I grew up in a multi-generational home. I didn't find out my parents till I was 9 because I called my mom Nana and my dad Tony. And then my grandparents were Mama y Papa.
Oh,
so I remember one day going to our grandmother, ella no es mi hermana. She said, no, mija, esa es tu mamá. No, tú eres mi mamá. No.
Yo soy tu abuela.
Yo soy tu abuela, esa es tu mami y tu papi. No.
I loved growing up.
Those guys?
And I loved it.
Yeah. And, you know, my parents don't live with us. They live 8 minutes away from us, though.
But
they're always in our house. We have that. That's a very important part and dynamic when it comes to creativity in our house as well. Because my parents are constantly exposing them to our Cuban culture, our roots. And I think that plays into who they are. Yeah. You know, and who they're aspiring to be. My daughter identifies as being Cuban American. Yeah. You know? And it's important to them, you know? But I think that when you're dealing with mental health, when you're dealing with things that you can't really, I tend to hide. What I mean by hiding is, which I'm kind of in a hiding period right now. Coming here took a lot because I'm...
And I know exactly what you mean by like hiding.
Yeah. Like I'm hiding out. You'll see something on Instagram here and there. It might be because I'm getting paid for it. I'm not even gonna front. It is what it is. But I'm creating, I'm writing. I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning still. I was waking up for 3 o'clock in the morning for many, many years. And then I wake up at 3 a.m. At 3:05 a.m. I wake up and I'm like, and I go sit at my desk and I write. I just write. It just comes to me. It's like, it's a download and it just out my fingertips.
I love it.
And yeah. And being honest with my kids and having a partner that knows when to tap in and tap out is very helpful. Very helpful.
I have 2 more questions.
Go
and
ahead.
Then we'll wrap up.
All right.
What is something that you're really excited about in this season that you can't wait to step into? And you don't have to be like specific of like the things, but like in the way of like, who is Lucy stepping into in this season? What essence? What, maybe there's a word.
Yes. CK1. Just kidding. That's a great cologne. I'm in my writer's bag right now.
I love that.
I know.
I love that.
I don't even like saying it out loud, but I'm writing right now.
Good.
And, you know, I have a parenting podcast on slate.com. It's called Care and Feeding. It's nationally syndicated. I have my other podcast, the Mamacita Rica podcast, which is currently in production for some episodes that will air in February, March. But I'm writing right now. What am I doing? I'm writing. That's who I am. I'm in my writer's
era
/ damn, we just organized the garage era to damn, we just got this cookbook from Maddie Matheson, and we've been eating sandwiches, soups, and salads since we got that fucking book. I'm in that era.
Yeah.
And I'm in the era of looking inward for inspiration, which is scary.
Yep.
Because I'm writing some stand-up for myself.
And it's vulnerable.
It's pain. I've written 3 sentences. I like to write old school. I write.
Me too.
And then I type.
Me too.
And I'm kind of like a nerd because I love Quentin Tarantino. So I write the actions in black and then I write the dialogue in red.
Oh, I love that.
And I use a big felt pen, but whatever. That's weird. And I also buy these pens they were party pens from my daughter's party. And now I have 30 pens with hearts on them because of the way they write. It's like fucking perfection.
Amazing.
So I'm in my writer's era.
I love it.
And I think I have to wait until my daughter finishes her production, and I just want to start auditioning.
Good.
But I'm terrified.
And that's
because I'm a baby. I'm a little baby, and I'm like, but I don't know if I want to put up with that person.
I know, but it is what it is. My last question for you, which I'm going to ask this question this season. I'm going to end the show with this question. And I got this idea from one of our other podcasts in Cultura Talks, the Creative Club. He always ends with like a certain question.
I want to be on that.
Yeah. Hector, you heard that?
Why wasn't I invited? Do you know this is the first time I've been to this fucking studio?
I know. It's okay.
Anyways.
So, Robbie?
That's right. This is Robbie's.
Look at right there and say, Robbie, are you serious?
I can't try Robbie. Robbie thinks I'm a great actress.
Oh, okay. My question is, now, I know that mental health has taught us a lot of things, but what is one thing that mental health has taught you?
Oh, that it is okay that no is a full sentence.
You know who said that? The Olsen twins. And I fucking love the Olsen twins.
I love prune.
That no is a full sentence.
No is a full sentence. Yeah. Yes. No is a full fucking sentence. Do you want to, hey, will you host this gig for, no. Hey, we're going to do something, but we can't pay you. No. Hey, do you want to come over and hang out? No. It is healthy to say no.
Yeah.
Say no, kids. Say no to drugs. Say no to bullshit. Say no to situations that devalue who you are as a creative and as a person on this earth. Say no to people who try to dim your light. Say no to people who try to make fun of your culture in a passive-aggressive way. Those are called culture vultures. That's it.
Okay, one more because I have to.
Go.
For the young creatives, for the old creatives, for all the generation creatives in Miami, if you had to give them one piece of advice, what would that be?
Structure your creative.
Wow.
I am a structured creative. I have a time that I write. I have, it's a little bit OCD. I have a time that I write. I have a time that I do this and I do this and this. Be flexible, but structure your shit. Have a schedule. Schedule your shit. Because what that does is brings value to what your product is, and it brings value to you and a sense of pride that you probably didn't know you needed until you scheduled your shit. What does that mean, Lucy Lopez? What it means is if you know that you're the best writer at night, then schedule that hour at night for you to write. If you are a musician and you haven't been on your guitar for 2 days, that's on you, bro.
Right.
If you're a comedian and if you haven't done a stand-up set in years, that's on you. Schedule your shit.
I love you.
I love you more. Wait, open my presents.
Oh my God.
Yes.
She got me a present. Lucy Lopez got me a present. And you can't say that at home. All right, I'm gonna cry.
No, you're not. I refuse to cry with you, Marcela.
We've cried before.
Way too much.
Aww.
Read the poem.
Ready? Roses are red. Hold on. I wasn't ready for that. Hold on. Roses are red. My G-string is blue. Pop That Coochie is my favorite song, and so are you.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm a scholar.
Wow.
I know. I'm Jose Marti.
It's just like
No.
I'm gonna tell my kids that was Shakespeare.
Thank you for acknowledging
That's it.
the greatness.
Okay, so that was the card.
That was the card.
Okay. Is this what I think it is?
Yes. Open it. It's like, for you to do the things.
Mom, this is to put my ring in and
Yeah,
the jewelry.
that's for your jewelry. I don't know what you're talking about.
Socks, because I recently learned that if your feet are cold all day, it's because your uterus is cold. My feet are cold all the time.
Your uterus is cold?
I guess it's fine.
My uterus is cold.
We'll figure it out. What else? Snoopy, just so you know, I saw your Charlie Brown pin. Charlie Brown is one of my favorite cartoons of all
the whole
life.
wide world.
Who do you think I am?
Shit.
Lucy.
You are Lucy.
I am Lucy.
That's for the house.
Fresh strawberries and hibiscus.
Doesn't that smell rich? Decadent?
Theater Baby has that in her bathroom.
She does. Ask me if I read that book.
Have you read it?
No, of course
Amazing.
not.
I love it.
Why would I do that?
I love you. Thank you for my little gift.
Isn't that fun? You're
amazing.
a badass. That's a really good book, though. I read.
I'm gonna read
in
it.
the reviews.
In the reviews.
Yes,
They have an audiobook.
probably.
I'll do that.
But this is like, you can walk into like a thing and then be like,
Yeah.
I'm reading. Fuck.
I love you.
I
Thank
love you more.
for coming on my pod.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for believing in me and always just like giving flowers to people who deserve their flowers.
Marcela, you're great at what you do. And this is a great opportunity for you to really show everybody what you're capable of doing beyond the stage. And that's important. Beyond the Stage, starring Marcela Paguaga.
If anybody takes that, we're coming for you.
Beyond the Stage.